A very good evening and warm welcome to the State of Business on Now Television. I'm Chamal Fernando. Let's have a look at the headlines. China assures support for Sri Lanka without a hidden agenda. Developed countries are responsible for increased gas emissions, State Minister Balasuriya says. Now the news in detail. President Xi Jinping of the People's Republic of China stated that China is committed to assisting Sri Lanka in achieving economic stability without any political agenda. He expressed his desire to collaborate closely with President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The Chinese premier said this during a meeting between the delegations of the two countries on the sidelines of the Belt and Road Initiative last week. President Xi Jinping acknowledged that Sri Lanka's speech at the United Nations General Assembly reflected the country's strategic independence and its neutral stance. President Xi Jinping also reiterated China's commitment to the One China policy and expressed gratitude for Sri Lanka's support for the Belt and Road Initiative. He highlighted the port city and Hambantota port as key projects under this initiative and pledged to promote imports of Sri Lankan products to China and increase investments in Sri Lanka. President Xi Jinping assured that China would provide friendly, practical and timely support for Sri Lanka's debt optimization program. President Xi Jinping also mentioned the historical relations between China and Sri Lanka, citing travel notes by the Fahian monk and Singhe. During the meeting, President Wickremesinghe expressed his appreciation for China's long-standing support to Sri Lanka and commended President Xi Jinping for his consistently friendly attitude towards Sri Lanka. President Wickremesinghe informed his counterpart about plans to construct a Buddhist temple and stupa in commemoration of the visit of Fahian monk to Sri Lanka. President Ranil Wickremesinghe expressed Sri Lanka's hope to establish a maritime economic corridor linking China, Myanmar, Sri Lanka and South Africa. The convention also emphasized the significance of positioning Sri Lanka as an economic hub in the Indian Ocean region. President Wickremesinghe underlined Sri Lanka's commitment to preserving peace and the identity of the Indian Ocean region, advocating for corruption between India and China. President Ranil Wickremesinghe disclosed Sri Lanka's ambition to achieve developed status by 2048. He further highlighted the substantial foundation provided by the 8-step program unveiled at the 3RD Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation. The two leaders and the delegation further discussed the ongoing conflict in the Gaza Strip. Attendees at the event included Foreign Minister Ali Sabri, President's Chief Staff Sagala Ratnayake and Central Bank Governor Nandalal Veerasinghe. Chinese Vice Premier Ding Xuzhang expressed gratitude for Sri Lanka's enduring support through the historic Rubber Rights Agreement with the People's Republic of China. He emphasized that the Chinese people will always remember the gesture of goodwill and assured that China remains committed to extending its supportive hand to Sri Lanka. This Chinese Vice Premier said this during a meeting held with President Ranil Wickremesinghe in Beijing, China last week. President Ranil Wickremesinghe underscored the historical significance of the China-Sri Lanka Rubber Rights Agreement, the first foreign commercial agreement entered into by Sri Lanka. He underscored the importance of establishing new commercial relations that align with the shared principles of both nations. The President expressed deep appreciation for China's invaluable support in the face of the economic challenges confronting Sri Lanka. President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasized commitment to preserving the peace of the Indian Ocean region, advocating for the prevention of any power struggles in the area. President Wickremesinghe further highlighted Sri Lanka's aspiration to enter into a free trade agreement with China. The Chinese Vice Premier reaffirmed China's support for the development of the Colombo port city and Hambantota port within the framework of the Belt and Road Initiative. At the conclusion of the discussion, the Chinese Vice Prime Minister hosted a dinner for the delegation led by President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Stay tuned. We will return after this commercial break. Welcome back. State Minister of Foreign Affairs Taraka Balasuriya says that it is not the developing countries but few developed countries are mainly responsible for the issue of gas emissions in the world. State Minister Balasuriya made these observations at a media briefing held at the Government Information Department recently to brief the media over the Archipelagic and Island States Forum 2023, which is most known as AIS Forum, which took place recently in Bali, Indonesia.
The AIS conference is a conference on archipelago and island states. It's initiated by Indonesia, the world's largest archipelago with over 18,000 islands. The main idea of the conference is how the resilience to the climate change can be mitigated and also how all these island states can collaborate together. We know that most of the emissions, if you look at around the world, 95% of the emissions have been emitted by the developed countries and not by the developing countries. But unfortunately, everybody has to face the music. And I think this has, apart from methodologies used to for things such as developing the blue economy. I think the forum has great importance to Sri Lanka. We see that there are different environmental groups such as the AIS. There are other groups around the world. So we feel that all these groups should be brought under one umbrella. And I think the Climate Justice Forum would try to initiate that.
Cabinet of Ministers has approved visa-free entry for visitors from 7 countries with immediate effect. The 7 countries which government announced that are India, China, Russia, Malaysia, Japan, Indonesia and Thailand. Government Information Department this morning announced that the Cabinet has approved visa-free entry to visitors from India, China, Russia, Malaysia, Japan, Indonesia and Thailand with immediate effect. The Information Department also said that the decision will be implemented as a pilot project until the 31st of March next year. Meanwhile, the Tourism Ministry said that the purpose of accepting tourists from many countries from visas is to attract more tourists to Sri Lanka. Accordingly, it is expected to increase tourists' arrival to 5 million over the coming years. Tourism Ministry also added that Sri Lanka is also within the 20 countries that China has announced for travel by Chinese tourists. The officials also say that the proposed program will save money and time spent on obtaining visas, and it is expected that the tendency of foreign tourists to visit Sri Lanka will increase. Ministry further said that it is also proposed to introduce an e-ticketing system for most of the tourist sites in the country in the near future. Sri Lanka has free visas at present to tourists from Singapore and Maldives who also do not charge a fee from Sri Lankans. Tourists from other countries have to pay about $30 to get electronic travel authorization online with a lower fee for South Asia. Demo Healthcare, together with SEAS, a globally renowned technology enterprise operating in the optics and optoelectronic sphere, introduced SEAS CT Lucia 621p monofocal intraocular lens to Sri Lanka. This innovation redefines cataract surgery procedures, offering enhanced visual outcomes for patients. This innovative technology was officially launched at an event in Colombo recently. As part of the SEAS cataract workflow solution portfolio, the CT Luisa 621p monofocal IOL will also empower surgeons with the tools needed to deliver optimized visual outcomes for cataract patients. The fully preloaded injector will make the surgical procedure intuitive, smooth and controlled, reducing the risk of complications. The architecture of the IOL has been meticulously designed to promote effortless centering and optimize direct contact with the capsular bag. This deliberate design not only assures stability but also maintains a consistent placement within the eye's natural bag, offering patients a dependable and enduring solution. In addition to this launch, SEAS will also introduce technologically advanced IOLs like trifocal and extended depth of focus to ensure the best outcomes for ophthalmologists in Sri Lanka.
Among the prestigious companies that DEMO represent, Zeiss take a prime place. Zeiss is not only in the ophthalmology, but they manufacture quite a lot of very important equipment, including operating microscope, three-dimensional operating microscope. Some are available in Sri Lanka. Their technology, practically every 2-3 months we get their innovations and things like that. Constantly they are bringing the best stuff, especially in the medical field.
Stay tuned for the stock update. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on negative notes today.
The All Share Price Index dropped 116.95 points to close at 10,614.46 and the S&P SL20 dropped 39.64 points to close at 2,977.38. The turnover was 0.9 billion rupees and over 56 million shares were traded.
Up next are Forex rates. That's all our news for today. For this and more, subscribe our channel on YouTube, follow us on Facebook. Take care.